Yeah, really excited to get going. I think this time of year is always fun. You've been practicing for about a month against yourself for the most part, and maybe mixing a scrimmage here or there, but it's definitely time to play somebody else. And I think that's how you really grow, is to play some other teams and see some different styles of basketball and see some different challenges and see what works and what doesn't and adjust from there and keep growing. So I know we've got a lot better in the last month. I know we've gotten a lot better since last season with a lot of returners, but really excited to just see where we're at and kind of grow against the other competition now. A lot of our guys back from last year. We had a lot of newcomers last season and had just I think it was 16 games that were two possessions or less down to the wire. So it was a bunch of crazy close games and a lot of experience gained from that. Some good, some bad, some pros and some cons. And we lost too many of those, quite frankly. But I think it's something that we've really grown from. And a lot of those guys are back. And Kahari was all conference for us and had a great year coming in last year in his first year. And Jackson Gunville and Ben Bowl started a lot of games for us and have had a good career and are getting to be upperclassmen now. And then Michael Jock and Connor Hollenbeck started a lot of games last year and they're back for us. So we've got 5 or 6 guys that have started quite a few games, and then Caleb Vandegreen had a good season as a freshman, and Dylan Gachaba got out there and ran around a little bit for us and had some big games, especially here when we beat Northern here. As some guys were hurt that day, so we've had a lot of guys with some good experience. And then you've got Jalen Cook had a great sophomore year. He's been really steady for us last year, and he's been great again and improved again this year. So a lot of guys back, and then add some new guys. We had 2 transfers in Cameron Givens and Jake Leipert, who have both taken huge steps in the last month. And both guys will be out there a little bit for us at least, and we expect them to contribute. And then a lot of other guys, freshmen as well, that are kind of taking maybe a little bit longer to get in, but there's certain days where you're like, man, these guys can help us win games sooner rather than later. So just a lot of guys in the mix, and we're excited to get out there and see who steps forward in game like action. I think this year that experience has allowed us just to be a little bit more solid and a little bit more familiar with who we are and what our roles are. So I think we can fit into those roles a little bit better. But within those roles, I think we've got great balance. All those guys I mentioned earlier, I think had double-figure games at some point in time last year. A bunch of those guys were between 6 and 14 points a game. So I think we have a chance to have great balance. I think we'll have great balance in a lot of ways, both in scoring and rebounding and in playmaking as far as assists goes, and some defensive balance as well. So I love the versatility that we have. We might be a little bit undersized in some of those ways, but I think we've got a lot of those guys in that 6'3" to 6'6" range that can do a lot of things and switch up our defenses and spread the floor out and make us very difficult to guard at times. But I really am excited about our balance, probably more so this year than I was last year, as far as quality experience and guys that have been in big games and close games in the NSIC. And I think that's where we need to take that step forward, is finishing those games off and having a much better record in those 1 or 2 possession games than we had last year. Yeah, I think just continuing to grow. I mean, we had so many of those close games, and we finally pulled one off in the first round of the conference tournament, and then had another one down to the wire, as you mentioned, in the quarterfinals against the nationally ranked team that we weren't able to pull off at the end. So just playing that same brand of basketball, hopefully gritty, hopefully great pace offensively and moving the basketball, and a lot of ball and player movement on the offensive end, but finishing out games and just kind of knowing what it takes to win in the NSIC, which is a very difficult league, of course. But really excited for that, and really excited to see our guys take the next step and not be in every game, but win a lot of those games and kind of just as well as the newcomers, guys that are going to kind of take some time, but I think can help us as well. So we play an exciting brand of basketball, man. Last year it was, some gray hairs and some little bit of gray in the beard after last year, because so many tight ones, but man, was it fun to play all those games and compete and be right down to the wire and finish those babies off this year. And we'll be talking about how great of a year we had.